Water pollution is a major public health issue in South Asia that impacts the environment. Countries like Pakistan and India have some of the world's most polluted water systems. These water systems include the rivers and their lakes. This is Combating Water Pollution in South Asia by Group 1. The topics being addressed in this presentation are a description of the water pollution problem, an analysis of the human impact towards this issue, and our proposed solution. So, what is going on in South Asia? Water pollution is something that has greatly impacted the water systems in South Asia. The ones that are specifically being impacted the most are the Ganges River in India and the Ravi River that flows through both northwestern India and eastern Pakistan. So, what are some of the consequences that these water systems face? The Ganges River in India brings a ton of health risks to its people. Due to its waterborne diseases, those who rely on the river in their daily lives for drinking, bathing, and irrigation are always at risk of falling ill due to being exposed to these diseases from the water. Children are especially heavily impacted by this and are faced with long-term effects from catching these diseases. Something to note is that the infant mortality rate is high due to the health impacts of contaminated water. Cultural and religious practices also contribute to the Ganges River's pollution. The Ganges River is considered to be sacred in Hinduism. Millions of people come to the river to practice their religion through bathing, prayers, and spreading ashes. And even though these are traditions, these things do impact the pollution of the river. Another consequence that India faces from the pollution in the Ganges River is that the economy is being affected. When people catch one of the waterborne diseases, this causes them to fall ill, which results in them missing work, which harms the economy. The river is also a key source of water for irrigation. When these crops are exposed to the polluted water, it harms the quality of the crops because of contamination and it reduces soil fertility. This comes at a big economic loss for farmers. So just like the Ganges River, the Ravi River also brings health risks to its people. The waterborne diseases have a big impact on its people who rely on its water. Both water systems also exceed the World Health Organization standards because its water quality is highly contaminated with chemicals, untreated sewage, trash from waste disposal, and much more. The Ravi River also brings a major loss to its biodiversity. The pollutants in the water make it hard for the river's biodiversity to survive. Things like metals, plastic, and untreated sewage are what disrupt the water's ecosystems, causing specific species to be killed off. Another thing is that the polluted Ravi River also has an agricultural impact. Just like the Ganges River, farmers who rely on the Ravi River for irrigation are affected by the polluted water, causing their crops to become contaminated. So, what is the current status of these water systems now? The Ganges River is still dealing with its pollution levels being at a high, and the water quality is still poor. There has been a decline in its biodiversity, and the river continues to be in a critical condition. There are efforts, though, that are trying to be made to clean up the river. The Namami Gange program was launched in 2014 with the objective of reducing pollution and cleaning up the river. The Ravi River still faces many challenges with pollution, specifically in its Pakistan area. There is lots of untreated sewage due to lack of sewage treatment, and the river also deals with chemical contamination and is suffering from waste pollution.
In India, there are industrial discharge in the Ganges River. Industrial pollution seep into the water, coming from textile, paper mills, pharmaceutical, and chemical plants. They mainly come from tanneries, and tanneries are factory or workshops where animal hides are processed into leather. They spew chemicals, which include chromium, which is carcinogenic, and heavy metals, and they accumulate into the food chain, which animals are consuming the water. There are untreated sewage in the Ganges River. Major city sewage seep into the water, which come from Varanasi, Kanpur, and Patna, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. There are 72,368 million liters of sewage generated daily, and only 37% is treated. This includes human sewage and animal waste. In addition, 40,000 bodies are cremated each year and deposited into the river. The motivation for industrial pollution comes from the pollution control boards, which are underfunded, and smaller industries may not be able to afford their own pollution treatment facility. For the sewage pollution, there are many that actually lack basic necessities. In this quote, 75% of rural Indian households had at least basic access to sanitation, while 30% of homes didn't have their own washing facility with soap and water. This is impacted by the rapid growth of urban populations. In Pakistan, there are industrial discharge as well. Similarly, the pollution culprits come from textiles, tanneries, chemical and pharmaceutical plants, and sugar mills. Textiles and dyeing units release highly genotoxic and carcinogenic effluents. And yes, I had no idea what genotoxic meant until now. And scaringly, genotoxins are the ability of substance or agent to damage DNA, leading to potential health effects like mutation and cancer, which is not good for consumption. And also, they have harmful impacts to the biosphere. They can reduce sunlight and oxygen levels in the water, and they lower pH in the aquatic environments as well. Tanneries also have the same effect in India. There are lots of chemicals seeping into the water. In Pakistan, there's also agricultural runoff. There's too much pesticides. Exposure to such can slowly lead to the respiratory disorders and even cancer. And yes, this does end up in groundwater. There's also too much nitrogen and phosphorus-based fertilizers too. They increase the productivity of soil, but at the cost of drinkable groundwater. Agricultural runoff impairs the alternative source of clean water. The motivation for industrial pollution comes from profit. Some try to avoid the costs of having to make an effluent facility, and similar to India, the environmental protection agencies lack budget. And for the agriculture, farmers have limited knowledge and might not be aware of the impacts of their tools. And some farmers stress for short-term yields, and they end up overusing their fertilizer and pesticides.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and I will be presenting the set of solutions that me and my group members came up with to address the pollution affecting two important rivers in South Asia, the Ganges River in India and the Ravi River in Pakistan. Since both rivers play essential roles in the daily lives of millions, yet they both suffer from high pollution due to human activity. So one of our first, some of the solutions that we proposed were: one, to build and expand wastewater treatment plants; two, enforce environmental laws; three, educate the public and promote behavior change; four, support community cleanup; and five, promote green farming. So I'm going to go ahead and get into our solutions now. So the first thing me and my group discussed was building and expanding wastewater treatment plants. Since in both countries, many towns and cities lack effective wastewater treatment and raw sewage is discharged directly into the rivers, we believe that building and expanding treatment facilities will drastically reduce this flow of pollutants and improve water quality for surrounding communities. Environmental laws are essentials and they need to be enforced because these rivers are also affected by industrial pollution. So, enforcing environmental laws and penalizing industries that dump waste illegally can reduce toxic discharge and encourage safer waste management practices. We talked about educating the public as well and promoting behavior change, since public education campaigns can help people understand how their actions like open defecation or littering contribute to the river pollution. Encouraging better hygiene and waste disposal habits is vital for long-term change. Okay, community cleanup. So, supporting local cleanup efforts, such as those organized by community groups or schools, fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility. These efforts also raise awareness and mobilize others to join the cause. Green farming. So, promoting green farming will help both rivers since they are also harmed by chemical runoff from nearby farms. So, just promoting eco friendly farming methods like using compost or organic pesticides can greatly reduce pollution and support healthier soil crops. So, in conclusion, like these rivers are both in a crisis and both in need of urgent attention. When investment in sanitation, enforcement of laws, education, community action, and sustainable farming, these rivers can be revived. Protecting them is not just an environmental goal, it's a human and cultural responsibility.